Simon, there's a lot of expectation going into this game in Yaounde. And as we've discussed earlier, that perhaps the opening match against Burkina Faso, Cameroon haven't since then come across any heavyweights in this competition. They've come up against two newcomers. That was the COVID-hit Comoros in the round of 16, who had to even field an outfield player in goal, and then the Gambia. Could this lack of big challenges be a hindrance for them?
It's hard to judge just how difficult it's going to be for Cameroon against Egypt, because not only have they not come up against the side, shall we say, one of the bigger nations on the continent, but they've also not come up against a team that's been as disciplined and as difficult to beat as Egypt. Now, as you mentioned, Celine, and you're quite correct, the biggest team they faced, shall we say, was Burkina Faso. But it was a Burkina Faso that was also struggling with 6 positive COVID cases. So it wasn't the Burkina Faso that we've just seen lose to Senegal by 3-1, a narrow scoreline, shall we say. It was a team that was struggling to get itself together at the start of the tournament. And it's a team that Cameroon only beat thanks to 2 penalties by a tournament top goal scorer, Vincent Aboubakar. Since then, it has been a rather smooth ride for Conceição and for the Indomitable Lions. The real question is now, how are they going to come up against Egypt? Because as you mentioned, there is the expectation, and the expectation here from the fans, from the country, is nothing short but another title, which would make it 6, coming to within just 1 of Egypt's record of 7. But the issue is Cameroon going to be able to play this attacking, free-flowing football that they've shown so far, with the danger of Aboubakar and Karl Toko Ekambi up front? Or are they going to be restricted to a war of attrition against the Pharaos? Because we've seen Egypt play very compact, play as a unit, stifle their opponent's creativity, and then try and hit on the break with Mohamed Salah, the best player in the world at the moment. Now, it is true that if Cameroon can limit Mohamed Salah to very little action, then perhaps they can focus on attacking. There are also 2 notable absentees for Egypt, with Hegazi, the centre-back, missing, and El Shanawi in goal, also sidelined because of injuries. So it is also going to be interesting to see if Carlos Queiroz sticks with the approach of being cautious, or if he chooses to be a little bit more adventurous, even though in reality Egypt's squad and the quality of their players doesn't necessarily allow them to do so. For Cameroon, however, as you mentioned, the word of the day is to reach the final, is the expectation, and with 60,000 fans back at the Yaounde Stadium, and that could be a contributing factor to a win or a defeat with the Yaounde Stadium back there, then we might see sparkles. But as you mentioned, a blockbuster semi-final nonetheless, and no matter what happens, a very interesting game in store for us.
Our sports editor, Simon Harding, for us there in Yaounde. Ruben, just quickly, let's touch on Egypt. Simon mentioned they're obviously without Hegazi, and it looks like they are going to have problems with their first and second goalkeepers, most probably out still injured. Their campaign hasn't maybe reached the full quality that they're potentially able to show that they've shown in previous tournaments, but they have stepped it up when it matters most. Could Egypt cause Cameroon problems?
Yeah, I think that's exactly what's going to give them a lot of confidence ahead of this game, because, okay, they already eliminated Ivory Coast, probably the best team in the first round. Then a game against Morocco, coming back from one goal behind, which is also impressive because Simon said it already. The teams with Carlos Queiroz as a manager, in general, it's quite defensive. That's also what the force is of this Egyptian team. It will be really interesting, as Simon said as well. What are they going to do tomorrow? They will be without Hegazi. So will they do what they did in the second half against Morocco, put on an extra attacker and play probably on the weakness of Cameroon, which is more their defense than their attack? Or are they going to play like they always play and just hope for Mohamed Salah to do what he does best?
We'll have to wait and see. Definitely lots of action still to look forward